Thank you so much for coming out here and for like facing disagreements first, I guess. I really appreciate it. All right, I had another question coming up here, but the bait is there and I have to take it.
Okay.
So I am also pro-choice, and I was wondering how.
The bait is also there, so I gotta take it. Be careful what you ask for when it comes to Charlie Kirk, because hook, line, and sinker. Here we go.
Like you said to the previous dude back there that the government, in cases where human life is at risk, should step in through any means necessary, be it through mandates, be it through bans, things like that, right?
Again, that was a hypothetical answer. Let me clarify it. I think the government has a moral obligation to protect innocent life when confronted with the question of someone intervening to end that life.
All right.
So if a police officer is standing idly by and he sees someone on the side of the street and someone is going by to about to kill them, the police officer, being an agent of the government, has a moral right to intervene.
I'm sorry, I do have to take like a little bit of a caveat here. So the behavior of the police officers in the Uvalde shooting was disgusting.
Oh, I totally agree.
Do you believe? Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
but
Me too.
guess what? I'm consistent. The cowardice that happened at Uvalde is the cowardice we allow to happen when there's 1 million abortions in our country every single year.
All right. Okay.
Amen.
Which is standing idly by when children unspeakably get massacred.
I don't know. I think there's a bit of a difference. And the analogy that I usually use, or the question that I usually ask pro-life people is, do you believe that the government should mandate organ donation, even in cases of like things like donating your kidney? Or right now we have a policy where even after death, if you have like religious things where you have to. Oh. Sorry.
Silent, please.
That's not you.
No. Where, your whole body has to be intact in order for like burial rites and things like that to happen. We say that you shouldn't have to donate your organs, but the pro-life case seems to extend to the idea that even people who are living should have to give up their kidneys to people in hospitals, maybe, who need kidneys.
What's wrong with you people?
Well, I don't quite see it that way.
What?
But
What makes a uterus different?
Well, first of all, again, in 99.67% of the cases, the woman made a choice that could potentially.
What about those 0.4%? What do you think should happen then?
Oh, I think the baby should be delivered, of course, because I'll give you an example. Let me just prove it to you. If I had 2 ultrasounds, and one of them was a baby conceived in rape, and one was a baby conceived in consensual sex.
Well, of course.
Which one is it?
They look the same. I do.
But you can't tell because they're both human beings. And in Western morality, of which I'm defending tonight, doing something wrong after something evil is never the right thing.
So do you think that government should mandate organ donations?
No, and I think it's a false equivalency for more reasons than one, for a lot of different reasons. By the question of, do I think the government should come in and protect innocent life from being slaughtered? Of course I do. Yes.
Common sense.
And that's the answer. So, I mean, when it comes to mandating organ donations, I don't even see how that's applicable to the question. Because in 99.6% of the cases, 6-7% of the cases, the mother made a choice to be able to get pregnant. Now, in the very small micron kind of case, then the case is that the human life and the human being needs to exist. They need to be able to exist.
How can you make a comparison between organs and those being donated after somebody passes on to a child's life? An organ is truly part of your own body, male or female. A baby is a human being, completely separate being. And it just boggles my mind that she's over there so giggly, laughing uncontrollably while trying to make her case for the killing. Pro-murder is what it should be called. Pro-choice. No. You're making the choice to murder. So why are you laughing about killing completely innocent unborn babies? Talk about cattywampus. This type of evil way of thinking, this is it. All the way twisted and off the rocker. This is why people like Charlie, people like myself, people like the Kristen Hawkins of the world, we have to keep combating this nonsense and standing up for innocent little baby blessings, no matter how they got there. God put that baby in the womb. Now you can view that as whatever way you want to, and I'll get more in detail and descriptive after Charlie does his thing, but it's just ridiculous that she can sit there and laugh and joke, and we're talking about babies' lives being at risk. Get a grip.
All right, I'm going to argue that different forms of birth control have like different forms of like effectiveness, and someone could be like potentially on birth control using those control methods, and it fails. Is that just a risk that like someone?
Yeah. So I'm going to say something. This is how far our morality has gone. We need to teach kids to save themselves for marriage.
Mm.
And a lot of these problems wouldn't be having.
Hallelujah.
And if you do decide to engage in consensual sex before marriage, and you get pregnant, that's the cost of the game.
All right. Okay.
Thank you for being here.
That's what I like to call gooder than chicken right there. Lord, thank you for voices like Charlie Kirk, and God bless that man and keep him and his family safe. And I just love when bold individuals come out and take the common sense approach, or what used to be common sanity and decency and moral values of life, other human beings, loving them as yourself. Nowadays, we see people just off the rocker. But I love when people aren't afraid to have the courage to stand up for other people and unborn, innocent children's lives. Teach kids to save themselves for marriage. Right on the money. Nailed it. That's the way God intended for things to go in the first place. Man and woman establish that covenant of love and commitment before you lay it down. Then, if you choose to, make babies, lead righteous lives, and go out and be salt and light of the earth and help to bring others to the kingdom, to eternal salvation after they've repented, confessed Christ as Lord, been baptized. Like, it's real simple, but everyone these days, including this woman and kids up and coming in the next generation, instead of focusing on the only way, the truth, the life, Jesus Christ, everyone these days wants to rule the world and run wild in sin. It's all about me, instead of focusing on the way to heaven and doing things the way God designed it in the Bible, the basic instructions before leaving earth. They always want to create their own path and think that leaning on their own accord is going to lead to some sort of bliss and happiness. No. God created the best way to happiness. God created the way this thing's supposed to go. But these people, they don't know Jesus. And as far as the woman was concerned, that was a rare sighting to me, I got to be honest, of a kind and friendly leftist. She was civil. She was at least trying to think, from what I could tell. You could tell it was kind of hard for her to get through her educational brainwashing and programming that she's been accustomed to this point. But she was trying. I give it to her. All in all, though, there's still hope for her. So I'll make sure I include her in my prayer list and pray that she really wakes up, not just is living in this woke sphere with fake virtues, and starts to value the lives of the unborn. But I want to get down to the nitty gritty and really talk about how all these people, what they have in common is that their mama let them live. Like they didn't give you the control alt delete while you were inside their womb, but yet you're out here arguing with ridiculous off the wall things like organs compared to the life of an unborn child. They're not the same. You got these up and coming generations that talk about, oh, what about, life isn't sustainable until it can, provide for itself. So when are you able to sustain yourself? I'm just wondering. I know I'm going off into a tangent, but these people talk about what's viable. Are you viable at 2 years old? Can a 2-year-old just get up and make sure all their meals are taken care of and get drinks and go to the bathroom and just go out and work to provide, to have the means necessary to take care of themselves day in and day out? How about a 10, a 20, a 30, a 40-year-old? Do you accept loans and handouts from other human beings? So wouldn't that in essence mean that you're reliable to be sustainable by other human beings? What about somebody who's in a coma? What about somebody who's, had a traumatic experience and they no longer can function without medical machinery to, make sure they get fed and make sure they can breathe and all that? Do you have the right to just kill them? Do I have the right to just up and kill you because I don't approve of you or because, my life would be more convenient without you in it? No, absolutely not. So how do you have the right? You don't, to pro-murder somebody? How do you have the right to try to falsely facade label it and say pro-choice, but in reality, you're arguing for the right to murder another human being? It don't make no sense. And while I'm here, I got to talk about it because I know it's going to come up in the comments or somewhere down the line, because these people love to bring up the argument of what about a case of rape that results in a pregnancy? Although extremely, extremely rare, I have to toss that out there because you can't have abortion as a right for a case that's 0.0001%. I don't know what the actual stat is, but I know 99% of pregnancies are consensual out of irresponsible acts of, you either knew you were going to get pregnant and you engaged in the act anyways, or you thought you were protected or you weren't protected. Either way, it was consensual. But in the case of rape, that father or that man that put it there, horrible, evil, heinous sin, tragic. I have to make that abundantly clear. He'll face that judgment down the line, but that shouldn't be, put on the baby. Two wrongs don't make a right. You shouldn't punish the baby, the innocent unborn blessing that's placed in your womb now that could be the light in that dark situation. Matter of fact, it is if you look at it as a half glass full instead of pessimistically half glass empty, that's exactly what it should be in a case of any pregnancy. That is a little life inside of you that could be the next president, the next world changer someday. They could be a level of love and hospitality and the kind of leader that this world needs to drive it from this ludicrous insanity of wickedness that we see going on today. But yet, because, you know, that tragic situation happened to you, now you want to try to get back at the man who put it there by murdering an innocent child. You're not getting revenge on anybody, and you're actually engaging in your own sin at that point and going directly against God's plan. Remember, God can use very flawed individuals and situations for the greater good for future generations. It's all based on his plan and his determination of what is the best outcome. You're not the creator of all things. I know a lot of these people don't know God, don't fear God, don't know what Jesus Christ did on the cross. They don't love anything like that. Not at all. They don't know what they don't know. But I'm here to bring you the good news. Now, why things happen the way they do, I don't know. I'm not God. You aren't either. None of us ever will be. But most people don't even take a second to think critically from that lens, and they only want the hot take. They want instant gratification, instant conveniences, Instacart, Instagram. Everything is quick, fast, in a hurry. And they want that label of, is it right, wrong, or indifferent? The Almighty doesn't work for you. He doesn't work for me. He's the creator of all things and wills things to happen however he best sees fit. That's just something you got to deal with. Just one more thought that came to mind before I wrap this whole thing up. And I'm not sure if you've ever thought about it from this viewpoint, but when it comes to miscarriages, people usually feel bad for the woman because she just lost her child. As the loss of any life, people should feel sad for. We don't know why God called that baby or that person home at that time. But again, that's up to him, not us. But they don't label it a zygote or a fetus. Then they call it a baby. Sorry that you lost your child. They don't say, I'm sorry for your loss of that clump of cells, whether it was 1 week into the pregnancy, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, you lost the baby right after birth. They feel bad for them because they get a reality check of how precious life really is in that moment. Life across the board. But just not in the moments where it, affects their conveniences. Ain't that funny how it works? They only want to do what feels good in the moment, and they don't even think about the outcomes and potential effects that their actions take. They're all about this woke nonsense, and that's why I got to keep combating it, because these people, they have the right to practice their freedom of speech and enjoy the American dream, but yet that little boy or girl may not even get a chance to breathe. And that just ain't okay by any stretch of the imagination. And now I'm going to flip it over to some biblical soul food, dish out some scripture to reel it all in. And again, you may not be a believer. I pray for you. I pray that you find the only path to heaven someday, and that's through Jesus Christ. So I'm taking it over to Psalm 139, verse 13 through 16. Follow along. For it was you who created my inward parts. That's God. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I will praise you because I have been remarkably and wondrously made. Your works are wondrous, and I know this very well. My bones were not hidden from you when I was made in secret. When I was formed in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw me when I was formless. All my days were written in your book and planned before a single one of them began. God knew what was going to happen before it happens. That's the beautiful thing. It's not up to us to try to figure everything out. You can make whatever plans you want, but the Lord determines your steps. So all that you need to focus on is loving your neighbor as yourself, looking to God above all else. Don't look to man. Don't look to these doctors and easy quick fixes and ways out. Deal with life as it comes. Whatever punches are thrown at you, whatever hurdles and obstacles that are placed in front of you, burst through them with righteousness every single day. I pray that for you. I love y'all. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already, ring that notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a video. And, feel free to share this video as always. The algorithm is always working against Christian values. So definitely get this out in front of the public so they can see what real truth looks like, not just this perceived fake of this world truth. But outside of that, if you want to support the channel, you like what I'm doing over here, you can always get awesome designs like this Isaiah 41:10 made by my lovely wife over on her Etsy store. She also has insulated tumblers like this Soldiers of America one right here, many other Christian American designs, petite small designs to big and hefty 5Xs. We got everything you would like over there, linked in the description section down below. Big thank you to my Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee members. Y'all know I love you. You putting your hard-earned money behind me, I am forever grateful. I can't even put it into words how much you guys mean to me and just allowing me to monetarily support my family when YouTube made demonetized videos or whatever it may be. But if YouTube takes us down, I'll be over on Rumble, so make sure you're following me over there as well. But until next time, I love you. Godspeed. I'm gone.